13 months ago, I came for a walk along this beach and recorded the first video for this channel. I had landed in Fiji that morning and decided to use this channel to try and share my journey through self-sabotage and coming to terms with the mess that I'd made of my life. So I want to take this opportunity on the winter solstice in the southern hemisphere to share some key learnings from my last year of self-discovery, self-improvement, tackling self-sabotage, and some of the emotion that's gone through that, in the hope that maybe it can inspire you to begin to deal with your own self-sabotage. Well, the first and most painful thing that I had to come to terms with was the fact that I'd screwed up my long-term relationship with my ex-wife, mother of my daughters, screwed up my relationship with my daughters, screwed up my career, screwed up my visa for New Zealand, and then not long after arriving here, my girlfriend decided to dump me because she wasn't feeling terribly supported from 1,500 miles away. And to be fair, in my defense, I wasn't having an easy time of it, having to contemplate all of that. But the first thing I had to acknowledge was the fact that I'd screwed up. There was no escaping it. I was here in Fiji, lovely as it is. Even in the middle of the winter, it's still mid-20s here in the evening. But I had to face the facts. I'd messed up. Not just messed up, but messed up big time. And that was a very bitter pill to swallow. It was nobody else's fault. To be fair, some of the circumstances were beyond my control, but for the most part, it was my fault. I did this. The next thing that I had to do was to work on coming to terms with my past, and that was really tough, because I have a history of self-sabotage, history of messing up my life, very successful of hurting people I claim to love. And in many respects, I was damaged goods, and I'm beginning to work that out. And I honestly believe I'm in a better place. Then I had to begin to try and apologize to certain people. That was, again, quite difficult, because I had to hold my hands up and said, I was wrong. I was so very wrong in many ways. And that was a toughie. The next step was trying to work out where this self-sabotaging behavior comes from. And that was, and still is, quite a challenge. Almost all of it comes from my childhood. I've done an awful lot of reading, a lot of soul searching, and yeah, so that was something else. Looking in the mirror, saying, why is this happening? Why does it keep coming up? Why do I keep messing up my life? The next question, and arguably the most important one, was, well, what can I do to change? And one of the first things I had to take on board was the fact that despite the fact that I'd screwed up, it did not mean that I was screwed up. It did not mean that I was a mess because I'd messed up. I genuinely did. At this time last year, felt like such a mess, such a screw up. I'd royally f***ed everything up. I was angry at myself. I went through a period of self-loathing. That wasn't fun. But the more I read, the more I thought, the more I worked on this, the easier it became to just accept that, well, I am where I am. There's not much I can do to change it. I just need to work with what I have. Effectively, do my best to make the best of it. And that's been one of my mantras over this last year and a bit. It's just to do my best to make the best of it. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been fun. I've shed more tears over this last year and a month than I had probably in the previous 10 years, 20 years maybe combined. I've really had to look in the mirror. But I do believe that I'm coming out the other side. I certainly feel like a different person. I know I think about certain things differently. I have a different self-view. Has my self-esteem improved? I don't know. I think it has. I believe it has. Yes, it has. Has my feeling of self-worth improved? Yes. Yes, it has. Because I have value. And whilst my daughters don't want to know me at this time, I have a plan. I have an awful lot of faith. And above all, I have commitment to being a better person. Not being the idiot that I was before, but to be a better version of me. Because ultimately, I can't be better than anybody else. All I've got to work on is being better than the person I was yesterday, who was better than the person he was the day before that, and so on. It's not a sprint, it's definitely a marathon. So what have I learned? Well, I've learned to come to terms with my past. There's nothing I can do to change it. Yes, I've messed up, but that doesn't mean I'm messed up. I've also learned that I can be optimistic about my future. I can leave the past behind me. I've also learned that it is possible to change. That self-love, self-care, self-appreciation and self-value are all possible. A year ago I didn't believe that. But now I see it. So, key learnings. I'm back on the beach 13 months later, exactly. 13 months after the day I arrived in Fiji. Wasn't planning on being here longer than a few months, but the job market in New Zealand and the economy isn't very good, so I've not managed to find a job despite my best efforts, despite applying for over 100 jobs. But we're here now, and here I am, still breathing, my needs are met, my mindset is better. I'm confident and optimistic about the future, while having come to terms with my very messy past. So if you've gone through something like this, please write in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If you've got any questions, please just ask. And subscribe to the channel. It'd be great to have you on board. But thank you for watching. I really do appreciate you being here.